All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Let me just put my stuff away here. That's to kind of pack this bag for the office. All right, guys. Good morning, all. I wish I can come here and give you guys some positive news, but as we know, we had some overnight developments in Ukraine. So I want to go ahead and start by saying first, I hate to kind of just see everything's in a market perspective. We're all humans as well. And the last thing we want is war or armed conflict in anywhere in the region. But unfortunately, we don't make that decision, just you, I, and everyone else on YouTube watching. I know we kind of look things in a market perspective and kind of focus on your money and finances. Sometimes we kind of lose that perspective of what's happening out in the world. Maybe sometimes we kind of have our little mental bubble where we just kind of stay. But, just for a second, let's go ahead and kind of give our thoughts and prayers to those families and people affected in Ukraine of what's happening, the armed conflict over there. I was up until around 3 in the morning kind of watching all the developments. It's horrific to see, but I hate to say this, that we're almost so used to seeing this in our world, whether it's the Middle East, Asia, Africa, you name it. And it's difficult to see. And it's kind of hard to kind of keep perspective, but we have a job to do. And our job is to report and to kind of help you guys out with questions and answers when it comes to the markets. And this is a global geopolitical issue, let's just say. I mean, we've been here before. Just 2 years ago, we had COVID, war in Afghanistan, war in Iraq. We had 9/11 just 11 years ago. We had 21 years ago, we had 9/11. War in Afghanistan. This country has seen a lot. Our people have seen a lot. And the world has changed many times. This invasion from Russia to Ukraine is I would say, well, to quote Reuters and some reporters, that this is the biggest invasion since World War II in Europe. And that's pretty scary because that didn't work out so well for a while. Worked out well for the Allies, but at the end of the day, that's history. So, again, we're going to talk about the markets. Let's keep perspective as always. Let's keep the thoughts and prayers with the people of Ukraine. Hopefully peace wins out as always. The last thing we want is a world on fire and armed conflict to escalate. So with that being said, the real issue here, guys, is escalation. What is next? Again, what is next? Does Russia invade Kiev, which is the capital? Does Russia go into Poland? Does Russia go into Romania? I mean, when does it end? We don't know. And that's the problem with media outlets. That's the problem with kind of looking at towards different things. We don't know exactly what's factual. Even sometimes videos aren't real. They can be doctored. So always keep a grain of salt when you see things. I like to say that the market is the ultimate response or the ultimate survey of how people feel. And you could see it today. The Dow is down 755 points. So obviously, this is real. What's happening is real life. An invasion from Russia into Ukraine, regardless of your political stance, it's what it is. And it's difficult to see. And what's hard is that don't let money and the markets remove your humanity, where you don't care anymore. I understand you want to make money. I'm all for it. I mean, that's what we're here for. But let's keep that in the back of our head, that sometimes even bad things kind of provide opportunities sometimes, and that's our job. So again, let's keep perspective and then move forward. So again, prayers for Ukraine. Hopefully peace wins out at the end, and all we can do is just watch and hope for the best. President Biden will be speaking at 1 p.m. today regarding the Ukraine conflict. NATO is meeting, talks of more sanctions. There's a lot. There's one more piece that no one is really talking about much, which is SWIFT. SWIFT is the international wire transfer system that we have. Now, if Russia is removed from SWIFT, that could be very, very consequential, because then Russia is basically at a point of embargo, of economic embargo, where they can't move money. So again, that is a complete speculation of where that is. We don't know if that's going to happen, but kind of watch for that. I will keep you up to date on Twitter as always at G.A.R Capital. I will retweet or give the news as I can that matters to the market. But again, that's where we are. I just want to give that perspective. It was very tough to see overnight all this stuff going on, but I hate to say that we're kind of used to it now with Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, many nations that we've seen bombing before, and it's tough to see it. I've been alive since 1985, and there has been many armed conflicts in my lifetime around the world. So I can't say I'm numb to it, but again, it's something to see, but it's tough. We'll go ahead and leave it there and answer some. We'll talk about the market here. The Dow is down 713 points. It was at the worst. It was, I think, around about 860. The Nasdaq's down 2.75%. S&P down 2.23%. The Russell's down nearly 2% on futures. The yields are down today about 100 basis points, 1.875. The dollar index is at 97.20, up 1%. The VIX is up 17% at 36.50. The crude oil futures, again, we talked about the $100 level. We got it, but not the best of circumstances, but it's there. I'm still holding XOP. I want to see if we get that continuation. 99.12 is per barrel. Gasoline futures are above $3.03. Gold futures 2.79%, 1963. We've talked about gold many times. I still own gold bars and gold coins. Not like I'm going to cash them in anytime soon. 29.49 for silver futures, 3.63% to the upside. Taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down 5.28% on the future side, 35,670. Ethereum 2404 right now, 8.12% to the downside on the futures. So pretty ugly stuff all around. Let's go ahead and take a look at some charts, and where do we go from here? That's really the question. I'm pretty sure the number one question I'm going to get, guys, is should I buy now? And this is the answer I'm going to give you. No, I don't think yet. We still have to see what's moving, because escalation is what happens. Remember, Putin said over the weekend that he has no plans of invading Ukraine. What happened? Ukraine was invaded. So again, we still don't know what's going to happen. That's the scary thing. Your next support level is really 40.26. If you're looking to buy puts, you pretty much are just going for 402, 403. That's what you're looking for. Could we get a bounce today? Yes, you could get that, shorts covering overnight where the shorts are covering and that's it. But until then, I mean, with this escalation, it's such a difficult way to see it, because technicals are pretty much just accelerating to the downside, and 757 on Q. So let's go ahead and go to QQQ, and then you can see that breakdown. 320 now, we're right over here. Really the next level down is around 316. I would probably take a look at 316 puts if we get a little more pressure. Maybe if we get a pop, we can short that. But again, it's difficult to say. And in terms of the market, in terms of pre-market movers, I'll go ahead and bring that up too. But it's all down, guys. It's ugly. It's pretty much just a wipe. And you can see Apple down 3.79%, SoFi down 10%, Tesla down 7%, NEO down 8.37%. Chevron's up 3%, but that's about it on the Dow. JP Morgan's down 3%, Walt Disney down 3%, Microsoft down 3%, AMD, Tesla, you name it, they're all down. Meta is below 200, 190, 170. Again, I have bought dips in the market. Again, that 42.60 level was happening. That was my support. And I said, barring Russian tanks going through Ukraine, because I don't know if that's going to happen, it happened. So would I buy stocks today? No. Why? Because we may have more downside. So again, you're pretty much trying to catch a falling knife, trying to time it. So here's what I say. Instead of timing it, why don't you just wait for the dust to settle? Let's see if we get maybe a 5-7 point bounce down the line when things recover, and then you can buy. Again, is it buying the absolute dip? No. But again, even in COVID, we got as low as 2179 or 2189 on the S&P. I started buying at 2300. So again, I gave it about 100 point room before I did anything, before I started really buying. So again, don't try to catch it perfectly in a sense of just watch everything first. If this is a time where you do need some money, that's where you want to sell stocks at. That's where you're at. If you don't need the money anytime soon, you're not retiring anytime soon, nothing has really changed. You just have to wait this out. Does it feel ugly? Does it not feel good looking at your brokerage portfolio? Of course not. It doesn't feel good. Is it out of your control? Absolutely. Out of your control. It's just what it is. So the market was already on shaky ground. Russia and Ukraine just pretty much accelerated it. So I always say this. Accelerate faster so you can get out of it. The faster we do it, the faster we move on. That's really how I see things in terms of the market. So again, I would stay patient still. If you're playing the options market, puts are a way too. But again, you're talking about the premium costs are very high. I regret not doing puts this week, But again, I wish I knew ahead of time, or even the severity of this invasion as well. God, I hate to even say that. It makes me sad to say. Excuse me. But at the end of the day, guys, you have to look at the perspective that it is difficult to catch a bottom. It is difficult to see if there's more escalation. You don't know what's going to happen either. Put premiums are going to be very, very expensive due to IV, which is implied volatility. That's the VIX right there. So again, if you're going to buy puts, keep in mind they're going to be extremely expensive, very expensive. You're buying insurance on a house on fire. Keep that in mind. Good morning. Let's see it. Yes, thank you so much for the kind words. How will you play oil companies now? Wait for 120. Again, I have XOP going, so here's my XOP level. XOP right now is 111.42. 130.56 is my next target. So that's, I would say, maybe 115, 120 a barrel. Hey, Carlos, first of all, thanks for that QQQ30 bag yesterday. Hope everything's good with you. Is there a strategy for watching days like this? Philippe's talking about that QQQ. I'm glad he got it. I was at 37% and I didn't close, and I regret it because I closed before. I talked about that yesterday, and it really upset me because I missed that chance to take that profit and I didn't. And then we had that rug pull. So right now, the best thing is just to watch. Let's see if we get a little bit of a small relief pop. That might be worth shorting. That might be worth buying puts, because then put premiums will fall just a tad. But again, it's difficult to say until we see the volume in the market. It's difficult to say until we open, because we're not sure how we're going to open. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. Right now, you need to observe and watch for the most part. Again, I wouldn't want to do anything that's going to set you back months for the year. Again, even COVID, the worst case scenario, the market being literally to the point of circuit breakers. We're not in circuit breakers, mind you. To the point where the economy is shut down. We're not at that point. So the market, we just had a 7% GDP reading. Met expectations year over year. That's great. But here's the deal. Even through COVID, we went through it. Even through that, we get over it in about a month. So again, I would say usually about 3 to 4, about a month or so, this will subside, the market will price it in, and we move on, and then we can start kind of going back to seeing what's the next level to go from there. Is it a good time to add Microsoft, Google now? No, it is not a good time to add anything yet. Why do I say that? Because we don't know escalation. We don't know about over the weekend what's going to happen. It's best just to wait. Should we sell the stocks and wait and enter the market again? That's something if you want to do, if that makes you feel better, makes you sleep at night better, that's okay. You can always do that. But again, if they are profitable, you're going to be paying capital gains tax. That's something that's up to you. So again, if you're willing to pay that, sell some of your winners and pay those taxes because, oh, I just want to get out of the market. That's fine. I think the best thing you could do is really just don't do anything. Just don't touch it. Don't pretend it's not there, because you don't need the money today. If you needed the money today, completely different story. I'll backtrack that and say, sell what you have to sell, because your personal finance is still the most important thing. Now, again, I'm buying SPY-G today. I buy that every week. Am I getting a nice discount? Absolutely. Am I happy about it? Not really. Not because, only because of the situation that the world is in. That's really it. Adding on anything, sitting on hands. I'm buying SPY-G today. I buy that every single week. I bought some more Bitcoin. I bought some more Ethereum. But that's every week. Everything that I do every week or every month is still in play. That hasn't really changed. Have I gone out of my way to buy NVIDIA or something or buy anything? No. I'm sitting on my hands there. Morning, Carlos. As always, thank you for what you do. Bear market coming for ES Mini. That is a possibility. Absolutely. It looks like a complete washout is what we're going to get due to many factors. I mean, yeah, you can blame Ukraine and Russia, sure. But it looks like 40.26 is your next level. I was looking at it last night. I was thinking that around 41.30, 41.50 was your support. That sliced through. So really 40.26, which would get us to around May 2021 levels. 38.45 would be pretty much the absolute, washout level. That'll get us back to March lows in 2021. That's a 161.8 extension to the downside. Could we get there? I think that's pretty much the last gasp. If that breaks, then, well, then we're talking about boots on the ground and a lot of scary stuff. But I think 40.26 is a good level to see. Again, be careful that this morning that we may get a slight pop. Maybe the Dow is only down 500 or so. Don't be fooled. Again, we may get a pop, but again, the downside is still there because now is escalation. The problem is if you do puts, they're going to be expensive. Very expensive. So you have to make sure that your position size is correct. You buy for next week. Don't do it for this week. This week has to be next week. You may have to pay a little more for it, but that's what you're watching for. So again, I'm waiting for the pop to sell off. I want to sell the pop. That's what I'm looking for. If you get a little more of a sell-off to the downside, again, I think maybe we should kind of offset a little bit in around 9:30, where we kind of bounce a little bit. That's kind of normal. But again, right here, there's not much you can do. Any thoughts on raw material miners? Rio Tinto, BAPH? Yeah, anything commodities right now are going to be up because that's where we are. Again, we're in an inflationary environment. And then you add more of the precious resources factor to Europe and Russia. And again, it's all about production. Does production get stopped? What happens then? That could end. Don't open your brokers today. Play Call of Duty today. Well, that's one way to do it. Morning, Carlos. Thoughts on crypto? Waiting to add more? Another thing, crypto. And I get where everyone wants to buy the dip and everything. So let's go ahead and bring up crypto here. And I haven't sold anything, by the way. Let me go ahead, if I can expand this. Yeah, people who say that it's digital gold, I guess in terms of scarcity, but not in terms of risk off. Really, we're right above 33,000. Let me see if I can go ahead and update this. Yeah, 35,490. I'd figure that we'd be around 33,000 if anything. Again, I would say worst case scenario, probably get to around 28,805. Maybe retesting that 2017 high of around 20,000, 19,000. That's, again, I'm talking about scorched earth, worst case scenario. But looking at Bitcoin itself on the daily, again, you're pretty much kind of holding that support right here. The support really is right around 29,000. Again, you're pretty much just closing your eyes and holding your nose if you're a long-term investor on crypto. It's just what it is. Again, unless you need the money as soon as possible, right now there's nothing you can do because there is tax implications if you sell. And again, I don't mind if you need to sell your stocks. That's completely fine. You don't need to explain to anybody what you do, but you have to understand there is implications if you do sell. So keep that in the back of your head. And so we're starting to get a little bit of a green candle, but be careful there. Is there a reason why you always buy stocks in your stream on Thursday? Is Thursday usually a down day? No, it's pretty much, Ethereum I buy on Wednesdays. SpyG I just do on Thursdays. It's completely random. It is not about a special day or anything. Thoughts on Palantir below 10? I wanted to buy more Palantir below 10. Definitely wanted to because I love that stock. But again, all this with Russia and everything, we may get more downside. So again, I'm waiting to see if I can get a little more and kind of wait for everything to bottom out before I start putting fresh capital to work. Do we throw technicals out for the wars going on? Kind of and not, because technicals are going to kind of give you a slight roadmap. But again, when you keep slicing down below levels, it becomes kind of the point of what difference does it make? You know, the market is right now in a pretty much of an emotional state where it's just fear out there. I mean, you can see the VIX, 36.79. We're not at peak fear yet. Peak fear would be like at 50 from COVID. Could we get there? So again, VIX will be something to watch for, absolutely. Tesla's on a downward trend too. They're just selling that. They're selling their shirts, man. You can see it. We got it from the breakout low from two earnings cycles ago to 1243 and back to 764. Rough. But does it last forever? It does not. Let's take a look at SPY together. SPY, we're at 412. That'll get us to right here. So 412, my target would probably be like 407 if we're looking at it. But I'm waiting for a pop and see if we can short that pop on SPY. So with that being said, guys, it's a lot of stuff going on. And trust me, I get it. There may be some fear out there. All of us may be like thinking, oh God, what's next? But if you were here in 2020, you've been here before. That didn't last forever. This will not either. It just doesn't feel good right now. The pain it just doesn't feel good. And I understand. And as an investor too, it's ugly. It's absolutely ugly. I mean, what can you do? Again, none of this is something that you did wrong. This is something that's a mixture of other things, including tightening monetary policy, inflation, uncertainty about monetary policy in the future. And then you throw in a little bit more of the Russia and Ukraine stuff. And the Russia-Ukraine stuff is a big deal because we don't know where Russia stops. Because if Russia goes into Ukraine unimpeded, what's stopping China going into Taiwan? And remember, Taiwan's not part of NATO either. Taiwan doesn't really have an alliance other than the United States. So that's why I talked about that on Instagram, that this is one step towards the bigger picture. So again, what the United States does, I have no idea. What the military does, I have no idea. But again, looking at a global sense, what's happening here affecting a lot of things. It's a lot of eyes on Ukraine right now because we don't know what can happen next. Could be escalation, could be full-out guerrilla warfare on the ground. That remains to be seen. But all we can do is hope for a peaceful way out of this. Square has earnings today, but again, that's going to be the IV up too, so be careful. What level are we buying Apple now, war including circumstance? I wouldn't even do anything with Apple right now. Again, and my whole IRA is Apple, but I wouldn't buy anymore. I would just wait. You almost have to wait. Forget price targets right now. You just have to wait it out and see what happens next. I wish I had more of a concrete answer for you because we could have more of a leg down, guys. We definitely could. We could definitely get more downside to around 38.45 and we're at 4,100. And then you're probably saying, oh, I bought Apple here. And we could probably get to Apple at 140. We can get to Apple at 130 for all we know. So again, I'd rather just wait, be a little off in timing, maybe give up a couple of points, but to want to make sure that everything is over with. All right, guys, we'll go and leave it there. Have a great rest of your morning. We'll be watching everything on Twitter at G.A.R Capital. Any other questions, feel free to let us know on the comments section here. And we'll catch you guys later on this afternoon on the afternoon note. Cheers.